Hello my friends and welcome back. It's episode 11 of Shadowrun Hong Kong, and you know, I was just thinking about me being annoyed about a guide being mandatory for that bit in the tomb, the Emperor's Tomb, the museum. I think, and I just thought, you know, it's even more of a mind-boggling design decision, because this mission is like a murder mystery. Why would you encourage someone to look at a guide? Then they can just find the answer immediately. You're ruining your own game. Anyway, let's continue. This woman sports brilliantly hued hair that shifts colours, scintillating with every passing moment. She's powerfully built, a natural athlete, or someone who works out a great deal. A notably large shotgun rests on the arcade cabinet next to her. She affords you a short glance as you approach. When she speaks, you note a particularly lyrical accent to her voice. Something I can help you with there, friend? Showing off my game, trying to beat my best score. That's some interesting hair you have. Well, sure ain't the reason they call me Rainbow Smite. She kicks 1 foot forward, the shotgun laying against the cabinet. The shooter is why there's also a smite. After a few moments, Rainbow's game is suddenly over, her tank obliterated by a barrage of air-to-ground missiles. She hisses her breath through clenched teeth. Piss on your ma, right robbery that was. Right then. Don't seem like them Wamponians. They're all a mite touched, yeah? Maybe you are too, but you don't advertise it like they do. What's your story? I'm looking into the murders that have been happening. Some nasty work, bodies hacked up, chunks bitten out of them. Make sure you're loaded for something big and ugly, that's for certain. Where are you from? Can't place the accent. Born and raised in Dublin, down the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of me early life there. Work in security on sacred spaces. No, I'm not doing it. I am actually like part Irish, by the way, before anyone writes in the comments. You know, historical sites are undeveloped land. The green movement was big in those days. It was a bit like being a park ranger. Sure didn't it beat some dead-end desk job. Spent a lot of time around County Dublin. Don't you mean Dublin County? And Wicklow. Always loved animals and found out being a ranger put me close with them. It was a good time, yeah? Making sure the budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset the ecology of the Wicklow National Park much. Also kept the nastier bits like the each usage from running amok across populated areas. What's that? An eat whiskey. Eats usage, isn't that a demon horse? Aye, that's right, they're cannibal horses, basically. Nasty buggers that drag people into bogs and drown you. Some people call them kelpies on account of the water plants they pop out of. Anyway, just as I was saying, the problem was I started to develop this wee neck. Just a small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the paracritters get real feisty, yeah? To make things worse, this was around the time Liam O'Connor threw his coup and formed the TheEdmon. All his fancy talk about elves and ancient magic was a bit scandalous to have a woman guarding ancient sites that wasn't just a mundane, but also killed magic around her, so I got fired. You're older than TheEdmon? Bang on, I don't look a day over 25, do I? Rainbow flexes one arm, grinning widely. Hi, I'm Irish, not one of them noggins. Pack of punters, the lot of them. Pack of punters? What? No! A punter is, you know, a customer. That's what that means. I don't think any Irish person would use it like that. Maybe a different word. A very similar word with the first letter changed. Always going on about their ancestral lands and the glory of past and all that bullshit. Saw them kick dozens of old Irish families off their land just because their ears weren't pointy enough or that they didn't meet some stupid, arbitrary criteria of old nobility. Just like the thing that brought back the IRA. Just like in the bad old days of the Troubles. Skeevers in the new tier didn't pay for the land they took, they just had a pack of bullies with guns. Rainbow scrunches up her face into a disgusted sneer and mock spits the ground. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They offered to pay for my help, so I said yes, simple as that. And so you became a terrorist. Fair, don't be so dramatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of the kit I've got in me now. In exchange for going overseas to work for them, smuggling, running guns, making contacts in Europe. Same kind of shite all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how my own fam got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. Still work from these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady Dare cracked down on the dissidents, but good. So what are you doing in the garden? Me, I'm a bit of a big game hunter these days. Get into strange places, look for some kind of power critter I've not seen before, and put a bullet in it. Only the nasty ones though, no point in hunting a talus cat or such. Only things like gargoyles, bargheists and whatnot. All the work I did with them in my youth does a good job of keeping me alive. I was out in Jakarta last year hunting one of them Indonesian vampires. You ever heard of them? Call them Leak or Penagallans, depending on who you ask. Their heads and guts come out of the body cavity and they fly around like a giant messy pile of pasta. Rainbow bears her teeth and pantomimes floating around. It took me a solid 2 months to track her down, but I did. Once the job was done I asked myself, okay Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the key whatsits here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you usually find in a city. Spending a lot of time down in the storm drains these days. Heard rumours of a rat king down there where a mess of devil rats get all tied together into some kind of big awful rat beast. Haven't tracked it down yet, but figure it's only a matter of time, yeah? She pats the barrel of her shotgun affectionately. Okay. Welcome to Vinval Matrix Materials. What can I get you? Okay. It's just a shop. The bin is full of assorted chips, peripherals, add-on modules for cyberdecks that don't seem to be arranged in any coherent fashion and are spread across the felt surface. Sift through the display case, searching for anything that might prove interesting. Isabel peers past you in the bin as you search. That's interesting. A lot of storage memory, I/O handlers, and active memory in this bin. I'm not seeing any MPCP hardware, the response increased chips, or anything related to the hot shit decking Magpie was supposed to be into. In fact, you couldn't even build a full deck with this. Without the MPCP, it would just be a glorified comlink. What do you think it means? Well, if I had to guess, I say somebody's cleaned her out. MPCP, response increased, biofeedback filters, all that. They're easy to move, expensive, and highly illegal. All the rest of this crap is good, but it's nothing you couldn't pick up at any electronics shop. You have to know what you're looking for, though. Only a good decker would know what they're seeing. Can Magpie have taken them with her? Isabel gestures towards one of the other displays. A pair of small cyberdecks sit inside a lock case. I guess so, but if she did that, why would she leave the completed cyberdecks? No, I think this was theft. Excuse me, my voice is like... seemed fine before I started. The front of the server's case hangs open, the inner machinery quiet and without power. A clipboard is stuck into the side by a piece of duct tape. Its papers filled with a long list of programs and their prices. A quick glance over the program sheets reveals names like Bugs, Bugs, Bugs and Black Hammer. Undoubtedly this is Magpie's attack program storage machine. Somebody removed the drives and it sure wasn't Magpie. Here, look. The main drives were disconnected properly, but it looks like she modified the server to have a backup drive with its own battery-based power supply. If it was Magpie, she'd have taken that too. Crap, this is a Fuji XB1000. It looks like the battery power ran out a while ago. The XB1000s are constant write drives. They're dirt cheap and have tons of capacity, but if they run out of power, they lose their data. We're not going to be able to get anything off the drive. Magpie's desk is the kind of messy that most people associate with rats' nests, hoarders and deckers. The surface of the desk is littered with cigarette butts, half-finished cans of soy calf, and the scraps of electronics. A towering pile of empty instant noodle bowls sits next to it, their sides blazoned with Honest Wang's instant old-time Lamian and depict a line of top hat wearing caterpillars dancing with canes. Hey, awesome. I don't think anybody but me liked Honest Wang's noodles. Flavour like you've never tasted in a package of instant noodles, I promise. See, this one's cheese curry broccoli. I don't know why it never caught on, honestly. You can smell that stuff across the entire boat when you cook it. A bit like old socks with a side of vinegar. First time I smelled it, I thought you were fumigating. Pish, Isabel. Your main problem is that you have no idea what's delicious and what isn't. Expand your horizons. There's a whole world of deliciousness waiting for you at every corner store. My horizons are fine where they are, thanks. After all, I can still tell if I'm eating food or cardboard, and that's one of those little things I'd like to hold on to. You gingerly root around the desk, doing your best to avoid the more disgusting piles and spills. It isn't easy. The desk's drawers are stuffed to overflowing with receipts, cigarette packs, optical chips and cables. Most of the contents are boring, useless and disgusting. While searching one of the bottom drawers, however, a low-quality tin lock box catches your eye. Someone has pried the latch off, leaving a ragged hole where the lock should be. The interior of the box has several sleeves for storing keycards, all of which are empty. A small note is taped to the interior of the box. Spare stockroom keys. The door is in the rear of Miss Yang's restaurant. Do not lose these. Only use if I am not available to open the stockroom. The stockroom, huh? So who broke the lockbox to get the keys out? Probably whoever cleaned out Magpie's equipment. I'm thinking you're right. Whoever tore the latch off the lock was in a hurry. Any of the elders could have cracked the maglock without much trouble, and most regular Wamponians could too. Seems like somebody who was tossing the place and wanted to get in and out as fast as possible. If someone was after Magpie's gear, her stockroom would be a gold mine. You search Magpie's bathroom. There's not much in here. Toothbrush, toilet paper, some hairpins, a collection of cheap makeup. Combination of bath shower unit, however, has minor flakes of dry reddish substance near the drain. Blood, dried blood. Prying open the drain cover, it looks like quite a bit of it was shed as well. The blood hasn't been fully washed away. It looks like there was a cursory attempt to clean out the bath, but they missed washing it all away. It's a clever move, though. If Magpie's dead, a body drained of blood would be a lot easier to move without leaving evidence. Clever. That's a careful plan. I'm not certain I trust the elders to tell us the whole story. Let's not inform them of this finding just yet. If any of them know more than they're saying, they may go around and cover their tracks with greater diligence. Okay. I guess we're done here. This Yang's restaurant. This looks like a restaurant. This dumpy looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various sizes. Some are sold individually, some are skewered on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. Sign on the front of the cart reads Keta's 1 yen yatai. Cacophony of small trid screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different trid show. Interest you in some dango, teriyaki, maybe a nice nikuman? That's a pork bun with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls or your speed. Keta will give you your heart's desire, providing that desire is on my menu. Fish balls aren't really my thing. Fish, what's wrong with you? You don't like anything good. Stinky tofu I could see, but curry fish balls are the grease that makes the city's engine turn. You want to feel like a local, don't you? Get some. Keta leans back, studying you intently. The trid projections from his cart cause his face to be lit in constantly shifting array of rainbow hues. So what brings you to Wampa Garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. Looking into the killing of the Wamponian elders. Keta shivers, wrapping his arms around his body. I've been hearing a lot about that. Haven't looked too closely though, just none of my business, you know. Got any thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. I saw a crowd down at Tong's Sensory Carnival last night. I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Trid fan. He liked The Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. What's all the Trid screens? You like them? I love Trid operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian, doesn't matter. This way I can watch all of my favourite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. Pirated trade is like any other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds, and then resell them on chip out here. Kurtz's face falls a bit, and his enthusiasm wanes. I wish it could pay the bills, but my food cart's a lot better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Wimponians seem to like sim over Trid. What they don't know what they're missing, though. One episode of 1,000 Cranes of Autumn, and they'll be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where Orin has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to get his mech suit out to the front lines on Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. I can't tell if this is mocking Gundam or an Nadesco or something similar, but I just get the feeling that it is. Never mind. This man has a tired, world-weary demeanour about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, the lines about his eyes perhaps, make you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts his cup of cheap soy caf as you approach. Let me guess. You're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. That's right. Who are you? Call me Demergo, but I'm not one of the Wimponians. I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. Demergo drains the last of his soy caf in a large gulp. So what have you found so far? You're awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their Thermometallurgical Research Division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while the other guys pulled pints and checked blood samples. Demergo tosses soy cup towards the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and rolls inside. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know. So why aren't you investigating it? Elder Edgy asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. Demergo shudders, folding his arms across his face. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price, it eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death, feel it going into your neck, pleading in the voice of a dead woman for a killer to spare you. These days, I'd rather interrogate the living, thanks. That sounds awful. Awful, it's more than awful, it's a goddamn nightmare is what it is. I couldn't wake up from for a long time. Sometimes you have to cut and run, start fresh. At least now I can pick my own jobs. I can read objects, it's called psychometry, a little trick I managed to pick up. I don't really know how. I hold something and can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone. If someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it will tax your heart. Before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told NG I didn't want any part of this. You want advice? I'll give you that. I'm not getting drawn further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? Tong wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. It's not how I would have expected. And the amount of mess at each scene, the victims should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, so the astral signature hadn't had time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. It sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have that kind of resonance in my experience. It's possible the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. I wanted to kill someone and get away with it. I'd try and point the finger at some kind of monster. Demergo opens his eyes and smiles a thin, humorless grin. Basic Investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. Think the mess wasn't incidental. It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it, in my experience. It tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. Tong was killed by a blade weapon, a single strike to the back of his neck. That's a precision attack. Most knife fights end up with a lot of shallow cuts and blood over the victim and attacker alike. If Tong was killed by a single strike, he definitely wouldn't have seen it coming. You can bet your last Nuyen whoever killed him is highly skilled with the blade. That says to me that the attacker is either a professional hitman or a practiced serial killer. Could be both, too. Assassins don't tend to be the most empathic people. Demergo considers this information for a moment before speaking again. Was the attack a thrust or a cut? It was a slash. Why? The wound was a thrust. Your attacker was using a knife of some kind. Anything over about 10 inches would be pretty hard to thrust with that kind of angle. The neck's too high for a longer blade. If it's a slash, then you're looking at a sword or a cleaver attack. Both of these are popular with the triads. They make an awful mess and send a message that they're not to be trifled with. What do you know about the murders? They started a couple of weeks ago. Elder Gam was the first to go. That's when NG asked me if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skins flayed away with a razor-sharp knife. The rest has been the same. Whoever did it sure didn't care about it being a clean death. Demogo lowers his voice, leaning forward so that only you can hear. The funny thing is, Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that, maybe a month ago tops. I know it didn't seem like much, but the Wamponians don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. Officers were loaded for bear too, big guns and heavy armour with NBC seals, the works. I went to the parking garage near here and there was some kind of gunfight, never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wamponians chased them away. Why did they let the cops in and chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, that the elders refused to answer when I asked. Take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out, there are gangs taking up residence there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. Why did you let the HKPF into Emperor Garden last month? Tang is taken aback by the question. For a long moment he says nothing. When his composure does return, he speaks deliberately and with great care. We generally don't let the police into Emperor Garden, it's true, but this case we made an exception. Police were very polite and offered to look the other way over some of our deals with Lo Ho Jua pirates. Also made it clear that if we refused, they might not only take an interest in our deals with the pirates, they would call in Special Duties Unit and force their way in. We have repelled the Hong Kong police force before. When they have tried to push us around, we could probably drive off the Special Duties Unit as well, but the cost in blood would be too high. Since they weren't hunting a Wamponian, we saw no reason to refuse their request. So who are they here for? They didn't say and we didn't ask. The HKPF isn't exactly forthcoming about their business, and we found the less that we know about their interests, the safer Whampoa Garden is. When you take an interest in the police, they return the favour. As far as I know, they went into the parking garage, there was a gunfight, and the police never came out. More showed up a few hours later looking for their missing officers. We didn't let those in though, we just delivered what was left of the bodies to them. Why didn't you let them in? We were willing to allow a group of 4 in because they asked politely. When the reinforcements arrived, there were over 30 of them. Couldn't risk the rest of the police setting up a camp in our streets. It would have been a circus and disrupted our lives and business. Oh really? Ah, finally I get to kill some people. Well, maybe. That's far enough, guy. The woman hefts her weapon, tossing a nod towards the gangs behind her. This lot's our turf. If you're looking for a fix, you're welcome to trade. If you're not here in business, clear the hell out. Try and wander around our turf, we're going to have to air you out. So what do you say? You're looking for a little pick-me-up? A little nitro to give you some pep? Maybe you want some chips to take that edge off? You want it? I got it. Some of those BTLs you're selling look an awful lot like they came from Tong's shop. Yes, so what? Why do you care? Must have gotten them recently. How did you know Tong was dead? It's like this. Broken thumb. Yuan was walking down the street and he sees a guy going to Tong's joint right at closing time. Tall guy, hunched over. Had this shitty grey rain poncho draped over him. Now Yuan figured it was weird as hell, so he posts up and waits. Figures the guy will come out soon because Tong's closing up shop. Nothing for 15 whole minutes. Guy comes out, hustles down the street with nobody saying boo. Figure he was waiting for an ebb in the crowds. Yuan sees some blood smeared on the door though, goes in to check it out. Inside, total carnage. But you know what? Tong's not going to be using his gear anymore, to hell with it. Yuan jacked a lot of it. Business is business. Damn right it is. That's all I know. The guy had to be the killer. Tall, grey, rain poncho, hunched over. Also smart about how he came and went. What happened in the fight here? As far as I know, some police showed up looking for somebody. They got in here. All of them got killed. Whoever they were after was long gone by the time we showed up. Used to be a lot of Wamponians living here. They all cleared out, muttering about ghosts and shit like that. Anything else about the murders? Nothing much. Tell you what though, I got a guy named Kang. He was down in the storm drain last week. Something was moving down there. Big too, man-sized, but it wasn't speaking any language Kang could understand. Kid beat feet back here as fast as he could. Dumbass stopped his storm drain key on the way out though. If you want to go looking for whatever it was, you'll have to get a new key from somebody else. Kang stole his from a city worker. Who else might have a key to the storm drain? So there's a guy called Porter Lamb who's got keys to pretty much everything. He's somewhere between a cop and a handyman. You also mentioned some elf woman with crazy coloured hair who managed to scam a key. She said she hunted paracritters down there, devil rats. Can I have a look around this garage? Man, are you deaf? What the hell did I tell you? No, you goddamn well can't wander around our turf. Should I just kill this gang? No one's gonna miss a few gang members, right? Just for fun. I love how it's my surprise attack, but they get to go first. You can always appreciate that. Goodbye, armor. And the damage on that sucks. Drone online. Oh, that definitely hurt. I probably need to spread out. These guys are probably gun happy. Not gun happy, grenade happy. Oh, come on. Oh, still walked into it. Yeah, can't allow that hit to stay confirmed. Oh, nice hit. Wow, amazing. Might as well put him down before he wakes up. Grenade would be ideal here, but friendly fire is obviously an issue. Oh, nice. This strip armor move is amazing. Wait, I got my AP back, so why did my turn end? Well, that's a bug. Don't do that as your last move, I guess. Nice. Very nice. Oh! Holy RNG, Batman. Who's got a revive kit? Okay. I think my drone is actually getting any real work done here. Looks like they didn't actually have any grenades, or they would have used them by now. Oh, come on, die. Oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Finally. Might as well. Another helping of the evil fog. Okay, are we done? Ah, there he is. Small PDA sits on the table, a dull glow of the screen illuminating the surface around it. It does not appear to be locked. Check recent email. Please select file. New location in the garage. Wilson, we got the go-ahead from the Wamponi elders to move the parking garage. Whatever fight happened there has really spooked the locals, and they're superstitious about moving back into a place that could be filled with angry ghosts. It's a bunch of bull, but whatever. Bottom line is we have a new place to set up shop. The only request is that we pay a percentage of our sales back to them. We keep anyone nosy out of our turf. Works for me. New location in garage. No, we just read that one. I don't know where Kang is. Last I heard from him, he was checking out the storm drains. Looking for a place to use as a drop so we wouldn't have to stash all the chips here in the garage. When he came back up, he said something about seeing a monster down there. He described it as man-sized but covered in gore and speaking some kind of monster language. He was so spooked he dropped his key in the drains on the way out. Total idiot, so I told him to take a few days off. If you're still looking for him, check his flat in San Po Kong. He's probably drunk off his ass or something. Unfortunately, that means we don't have any more keys to the storm drains. I know that Porter Lamb has some. Maybe you could ask him. There's also some elf woman named Rainbow Smite who's been down there hunting paracritters. Maybe we could buy a key from her. Elder murders. I don't know if any of you have heard about the way the elders have been getting picked off one by one, but stay out of it. They've been nice enough to let us set up shop here, but their business isn't our business. If we ask you to look into it, tell them to talk to me. I don't want to get mixed up in whatever politics are ripping those crazy tech junkies apart. The only good thing to come out of all this is that we picked up Tong's BTL stash earlier tonight. Ewan saw somebody go into Tong's shop right before closing time, and when he came out, the door was unlocked, Tong was ripped apart. Maybe he was the killer, maybe he was just picking over the place like we did. Either way, let me say it again for you boneheads. Stay out of it. Alright, that's everything. That's all the information we got out I got by talking to them. But hey, one less gang. Dried blood and bullet holes pockmark the floor, pillars and walls of the parking garage. Judging by the amount of blood staining the floor, multiple people have died here. To call the scene bloody would be to do it a disservice. This was a massacre of tremendous proportions. Look at this, Edmund. These scratches look like they were made from a long-bladed weapon like a sword or a machete. That matches the wound on Tong's neck. Our killer must have fought the HKPF in here and cut them apart. With the number of bullet holes in the walls and cars around here, they must have just been spraying wildly. Don't relinquish the idea of fighting this killer in cramped quarters. Or relish. Did he say relish? Dried blood and clots clog the drain. As you look closer, however, something catches your eye, an off-red colour that doesn't match the hues of the gore around the drain. Bending closer, it appears to be a small nugget of some kind. Fish the item out. Nugget, upon closer inspection, is a chunk of some kind of synthetic ferroplastic. It's got ragged edges and was broken off of a larger object. Small number of markings are partially obscured by scratches. Brushing away some of the dust, you peer at the fragmentary bit of ferroplastic. Scratches and markings on the nugget look like Chinese, but despite how closely you look, you can't decipher their meaning. After a moment, you realise the reason. Not only are the markings fragmentary, the language is actually Japanese. The characters are close enough to be familiar, but too different for you to read. Maybe an expert in armour or foreign languages could help. I'm not sure who in Whampoa Garden speaks Japanese, but Wing Kei Kwok has a shop down the Whampoa itself where we met the elders. Anyone here would know about armour, it would be her. Hey, can you tell me anything about this piece of armour? I own a street food cart. What makes you think I know anything about armour? Is it made of rice flour or something? I just hope you could translate some Japanese on it. Oh, in that case, I actually can help you. Let me see. Turns off the chunk of armour in his hands, looking at it closely. For a moment, he hands it back. It says Renraku Kagaku Kabushiki Gasha. It's the Japanese name for Renraku Applied Sciences, the materials research branch of Renraku Asia. Where the hell did you get this anyway? I think it came from the person killing the Wamponian elders. Don't know much about the Megas, but this seems like some pretty rare armor to find on a serial killer. I don't think off-the-shelf armor has this research mark, and it seems pretty high quality. You must be well connected to get something like this. Let's go and speak to Porter Lamb about a storm drain key. Do you have a key to the storm drain system? Sure, why'd you ask? Drop a gun down a grate or something? Following up a lead on the killer. In that case, take the damn key. You'll have to forgive me if I don't want to go down there with you. Porter peels an antique-style Yale key off a key ring and hands it to you. Knock yourself out, man. There's an entrance up by the Jade Mountain restaurant. Can't miss it. Okay, this seems like the perfect moment to stop because we're out of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.